Yeah, I fight for you all. It's the truth and I mean, yeah, I fight for referee breath that I
Discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect.
What'd you do, Richard?
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. 890 Tuesdays we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. 890? Is that right? Is that a right number? Did I do that right? I'm double checking that.
Think so.
Did I add an extra number? Oh,
I thought last
that's
week was
eight.
a palindrome.
Hold on, 840. 840.
I was gonna say.
I skipped ahead. We'll fix that right now. There we go. 840 Tuesdays we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. We'll get to 890, I'm sure. We have with us, first of all, you already hear his voice. He's helping me out. He's helping co-produce the show right now, apparently. From Beacon, New York, he's the only Mayhemmer with a feature endeavor letter from the WWE. It is Mad Mike.
Sorg. Sorg. It's beginning to look a lot like fuck this.
What?
No, as in terms of wrestling storytelling, because everyone just kind of gives up in the last month.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that a little bit. They're like, oh, why are we doing this now? Oh, it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas time. The bookers all take off.
Well, something like that. We also have the troubling twosome has returned to the show.
Yeah.
First of all, he's healing. He is healing. He's a healer and a healing. He's the Rev Ron Hunt.
What's going on? We're back in the building, feeling blessed by the best.
Good to have you back with us.
Yes, sir.
Always fun to have you on the show. And then back with us, the Radicator, Dean Radford. Is that what we called you back in the day?
Oh, sure did. That sounds so dirty.
The Radicator.
Oh yeah, eradicated.
Are you ready, Mike? Are you ready to get radicated?
I'm always ready to get eradicated.
It's
I'm
like-
also
it's like-
ready for.
It's time for the
I'm also ready for Superboy, for Steel, for all of the Superman replacements.
Oh, yes. It does sound very 90s, though. at this
By the way,
point.
Rev, is that a Heath Ledger
prepare to be
Joker chain?
eradicated slogan went for a while. Sold a lot of T-shirts.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry, Mike. What'd you say?
Is that a Heath Ledger Joker chain that the Rev has on?
Why, yes.
Oh, she said it.
Yes, it is.
It's
It's
amazing.
very heavy.
Oh, my God.
It's
And,
amazing.
and just like when you see people's gear on WWE in person versus TV, it is so sparkly, Mike.
It is
It is
very sparkly.
wonderfully sparkly.
I'm trying to get a
When it-
Batman one soon, so.
When anyone points it out, do you ever
my
go,
God.
do I really look like a guy with swag?
You know what? You know what? I have a story about this train for the people to tune in. I'll tell it later.
Go for
but-
it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Listen, hold on. We didn't even make it 5 minutes.
You know what? Crack it open. Why not?
Yeah, we get
Why
it
not?
here.
We're unofficially sponsored by Thick Haze. Thick Haze.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Yes. Pinky out.
Now I tell them how long that beer's been in the fridge, right?
You know what?
It's
Delightful.
vintage.
Delightful.
So did you get that at Trader Jack's?
It was gifted by Uncle Virgil.
Oh, no shit.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
Oh, Virgil.
Yeah.
So what
We
you're
all know
saying
where he
is-
got it.
What you're saying is that was paid for with fuck money.
There's a lot of meat sauce on
I
this, buddy.
hope
a lot of
I
meat
hope you
sauce on
sanitize
this.
the outside of those cans. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, and I think we just set the tone.
We can go home now.
We can go home now. You can check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can get us up at that email address.
Good times.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Oh, I just saw Rob's post from American Wrestling today.
You did it too?
It just popped up in my feed. So
The fun thing is they
He
didn't
looks
have
so
to send him
serious.
the wardrobe neither. He just kept his hair the same way.
yeah, that's right. Oh, I love when he had the button chops for that like old Civil War flick he was working on in Somerset. Anyways, where the hell are we? What the hell's going on? We're doing the show. 412-206-WMS0 at Mayhem Show on Twitter. We have a Facebook group where a lot of great conversations happening. You also start a conversation over at the Wrestling Mayhem Show Discord and the Reddit. And we are live every Tuesday around 10 p.m. Eastern Time or whenever NXT's Overrun is over on Facebook, on the YouTube, on the Sorgatron Media Twitch, as well as the IndieWrestling.us YouTube and Twitch as well. And I want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters. And this is where I do the Excalibur challenge, right, Mike? I'm making a
Yes.
note so I don't don't forget it next week. Excalibur challenge, you sweet muffin, you.
Rev, you're doing all this. Go ahead and make sure you tag me on all
There
that.
you go.
Actually, no,
I already
no,
did it.
Sorg.
Tag me
Heel
out.
William Regal just says, "Hello, Excalibur."
Oh, that would be. So no man in the
That's
mask.
all.
That's what you're thinking right now.
Well, yeah, no, he because heels can't be sexually attracted to commentators. That's not how it works.
That's not the problem. I mean, I don't know. I remember Lillian Garcia. No, she was an announcer, I guess, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly. Ring
okay,
announcers
you're
are
right,
fair
you're right.
game.
That's right.
Ring announcers are fair game for heels, but not commentators.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, thank you to everybody that support the show at the fan of the show level. Bo Diggity!
Woo!
As well as Ed Burke, Team Hammer Fist, Bobby F. Chain, at the Puppy Club level, Dave Ponner, and Aiden, just the biggest hustler in WWE, AEW, GCW fan, walking the island on Ireland, regular dipping in places I can purchase wrestling figs and a memorabilia at Irish Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Pizza Club level, Doc Remedy, The Riz, on the manager level, Bradley, as well as the mother of Dragon, Tina Keys, and OccupyProWrestling.com.
Not bad.
Yeah, that was
Like
good.
the-
Yeah.
like the-
You
That was
forgot
good.
to mention
Like
the
the
Chris
micro
Jericho
machine.
segment.
That was
Yeah.
good.
We're doing the Excalibur Rampage rundown version of the Patreon.
You've been practicing.
And no, I haven't. I did that once last week, and that was it.
Good for
So,
you. Someone signed this guy. Someone signed. You're going places, kid.
What the idea is, you guys can sign up at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show as little as $1 to make this list longer, or have a ridiculously long announcement like Aiden from Ireland does. So
Please feel free to take advantage of that. Make Sorg say weird things in a fast voice, like the Micro Machines guy.
I have not been given something that I'm not allowed to say yet. So there you go.
Oh,
First
can you
time
do
for
the-
everything.
Can you
First
do
time for-
the
Remedy, I'm
mathematics-
looking at
the
you.
Mathematics Scott Steiner promo that fast?
The math. Give me a script. Give me a script.
I'll work
Sure.
on that.
Oh, listen,
Let's do
we'll,
it.
we'll get that to you by the next time we're on.
Oh my God! You got to get me signed as a commentator somewhere at this rate.
You're welcome.
I don't think I want to, but okay. Yes.
Well, that would complete the quadfecta of the things you haven't done in wrestling.
the things I haven't done. What haven't I done in wrestling?
Just commentate. That's pretty much it. And ring
I
announce,
have not ring
maybe.
announced. No, I mean I've not truly, wrestled. I guess. Well, I guess backyard.
Yeah.
If we want
Backyard.
that.
Hey, if Jeff Hardy could have a whole backyard league, that
Kids get
counts.
trained. Kids get trained before you're wrestling. I would just cautionary tale.
Yes.
Yes. The couch will
Insert
agree.
Stronghold Training Center.
Yeah,
Yes,
Stronghold Training Center with one Dean Radford is a good place to go for that.
And
There you
Brandon
go.
K.
There you go. Brandon K. There you go.
The man Brandon. Okay.
There you go. The legendary legends teaching you out there.
AKA Pittsburgh's Jerry Lynn.
He is, isn't he?
I will down that hill.
Listen, all I'm saying is the last show, Homeboy jumped up to the top rope with one nice leap.
It's not bad.
It's not too shabby.
Not bad.
Oh, my man still got hops.
Mm-hmm.
A little hoppier than this IPA. Yeah.
Is this what? Okay, so you want to know how long that's been in my fridge?
Listen, if I'm
Do
going
we
to guess,
even
and
wanna-
I didn't look for an age, so I'm going to look at
Alright.
this thing, and I'm probably going to say by the taste,
Yeah,
2 years.
July of last year. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You can
I
sniff
mean,
it.
you ain't got to smell it, Rev. You can
You
just
just
taste
gotta,
it.
it's gotta.
It's
It
fermented.
doesn't just work with wine.
But it's okay. IPAs usually taste good no matter what.
Well, they taste. That's for sure. So- Well, let's get into the wrestle talks. Of course, big one this weekend, the Survivor Series, always one of my favorites. Well, I mean, as long as it kind of looks like a Survivor Series, I suppose. But conceptually, but we did have War Games or
War games.
Sword.
Yes,
We had War Games.
yes, yes.
You have to do the thing.
Yes, you got to do the thing. I love the
Gotta do the thing.
speculation that Regal was going to come back
Oh my
explicitly to yell War Games at the beginning of the show.
They said,
That was just where Twitter was this week.
Tony, I guess Tony didn't clear that one.
No, I don't think Tony cleared that
The
one.
internet's been
Well, no,
so fucked
Tony
up.
would only clear that if William Regal could show up with an AEW bump lower third.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably true tue. That's probably.
I heard so many like tweets about his. Well, of course, all the true information was under a paywall under the wrestling news sites.
But by
I'm
the way,
using a lot of
kids,
quotation
don't
marks.
don't pay for wrestling news.
Don't pay for
So you
wrestling
mean
news.
to tell me that out of all of that, they were mad that Regal didn't come back and they weren't happy that Ozzy did Ozzy things?
I thoroughly enjoyed Ozzy.
Who was mad about Ozzy? How can you be mad about Ozzy?
I'm
Yeah,
glad
exactly.
that Ozzy is still with us.
Yeah.
Listen.
God
barely.
bless.
I mean, he's
God
barely
bless.
with us, but
Let's
he's still
shut
there.
your mouth. We don't barely anything. Ozzy is still looking like $1 million. I don't care what you say.
We only so lucky to look that good at that age.
Because he's been the
And
prince of
after
darkness.
all of the things he's consumed.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He's
Shut up.
preserved. He's same with Axl Rose. They're preserved.
Preserved.
So you mean to tell me they froze him? And they're like, wait,
No,
like,
it's
hey.
just all the drugs.
I think
He's
it's more
still
like.
good to go.
I think it's more like he pickled himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds way too dirty, dude. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go pickle myself.
Oh boy.
This is gonna go off the rail.
Yeah. We never started on it.
Yeah, Tina said we were already off the rails. I said we were never really on
The train didn't even see the station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need
Rails. No, I think they were mad about the Regal thing until they saw Ronda Rousey's match.
Listen, let's
Do we
just-
have to talk about Ronda
Can-
Rousey?
Can we just start from the top? All right?
Okay.
Listen, if you look at that War Games match
Yes.
with the women,
Yes.
it was fantastic.
Absolutely.
If you take all the bullshit time of getting the weapons in the fucking ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably a good 8 minutes. If you really look at it, between all the competitors and putting all the weapons in the ring, the match wasn't bad. But every time someone took like a minute or two to get these stupid weapons in the ring, like just put the fucking ring, put the
I
weapons in the
kind
ring.
of like the because it's supposed to be war games, so it's like getting armaments. It's like it's like improving your stats every time someone new comes into.
so do-
Enjoy
I kind
it,
of
but
like that.
You don't need 5 of everything.
So do you think it was like what was the TNA stipulation where they had the stuff attached to it?
It was
That was
basically
the,
that was their war games.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it. Lethal
Lethal
Lockdown.
Lockdown.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the ceiling would come down and
Yep.
have the weapons on it, right?
I think they should have did something. It would have saved some time, but it was just like a bunch of and it was like, okay.
I like when everything's just zip tied to the cage.
Yeah,
what was
just
that?
zip
Is
tie
that,
it.
is that Monsters Ball or is that like
Monsters Ball.
Raven's
That's
House
Monsters
of
Ball.
Fun
Monsters
match or
Ball.
something?
Yeah.
It was a little of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah, I think they
The,
did.
the
they-
Clockwork House of Fun match.
I love the one where I think the Clockwork one was when we had a one wall of cage for some reason.
One wall
and
barbed
that's where
wire.
One
everything
cage
was
wall.
on. Yeah, it was the jeez. So I just our clipper is already like, oh my god, I have so much to clip tonight. No, I agree with you. Like it kind of, at least like when they're bringing the weapons in, like can we do something else, right?
Yeah, I mean,
can
it
these
was-
guys?
Yeah, like
can-
we don't need to focus on.
why has
Yeah.
everybody got to lay out when there's like 6 people in the ring and we're laying out while
Right.
and we're just going to concentrate on this person awkwardly putting a table through the cage?
Yeah, and it was one of those things too where that awkwardness came from, like you said, as soon as somebody got in, they're just standing there waiting for the shot. And it's like, just keep working. You know, just quit waiting, quit killing. You know, you're
Like
you're
you don't
eating
want
time.
Like you
just
don't want to do
standing
a
there.
spot. You don't want to do a spot that's going to be missed. But you can do filler stuff, right? Like
I think
Yeah,
the
because
worst
like the
part
only
about
reason
it-
I can think of that they're not doing it is because the crowd's gonna be focused on the weapons anyway. So why not? You know,
but still, just so there's
take that time
something
to lay out
happening.
a
Like at
little
least the illusion that we didn't just stop to watch this happen.
I mean, they could have just if the timing was better, like a couple of them could have still been in the other ring, battling the other
Yeah, for just like you have 2 rings.
and then that way, when you see them come in and start pouncing one of your teammates, you start coming through. Now they're between ropes. You hit them. It's cutting them off. I mean, if you go back and look at how War Games used to be.
I actually did. I pulled up because it was brought up on the press conference, the Sting Squadron versus Deadly Alliance. I started watching that when I was going to sleep the other night. And but I remember it was like, they're on opposite sides of the ring. They meet in the middle.
Yeah.
One of them jumps over those
there's no
middle
pause.
ropes. It was like I loved how that came together. And I think when they do Blood and Guts, they do something like that too, don't they, Mike? When them like
yeah, when they do Blood and Guts, they're on the. I think there might have been only one door.
Yeah.
But they're on opposite sides of the ring.
But they're at least like collected. They're not in a shark cage kind of situation,
I
right?
hate the shark cage.
But that's the makeup for not having a ceiling, right?
And also, if we don't have a shark cage, how else are we going to get to see Rhea Ripley passing time by doing pull-ups?
Fair enough.
And thank you, whoever put.
I mean, justification right there.
And thank you, whoever put a looped GIF of her doing the pull-ups from the inside shot of the cage. Just
Listen. Did you?
I believe I quote tweeted that and said, "There's only one Dom in that relationship, and his last name is not Mysterio or Guerrero."
The winner of the Rhea Ripley challenge was the person who grabbed the picture of her from the backside with SpongeBob licking her ass. I don't know if you caught that, but that was fantastic.
Oh, man.
It would have been better if it was Doodleball.
Well, there go the sponsors.
Yep, there we go.
Hey, I didn't make it. I just found it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Good cropping from whoever. That's time and dedication.
Yeah. Rhea Ripley is just like leaning into all the thirst traps right now, and like actively on her own Twitter, by the way. So good for her. Good for her. And
her only merch out right now is "I'm your mommy." So I mean,
run.
She knows exactly what
you know what. In a fun way, I did have heat because I was in the middle of talking to my graphic designer, and I was going to have a shirt that was "I'm your Reverend." But then she came up with that a little bit quicker, and I was like, I got to put it on the back burner now.
Here goes Rev. I was going to do that first, and then Rhea.
Hey, listen, it happened. hey, ask Kay who thought about the first wrestling cruise before Jericho did it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and Randy Orton stole the fucking O-roll from Brian.
I mean,
Myers.
the Wrestle Vessel was a thing that happened.
Yeah, that is true. Wait, what was this going to happen on the Gateway
And the
Clipper?
Bruise Cruise, right?
Yeah, let's do it on the Gateway.
Gateway
Let's make it
Clipper.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, why not do a Wrestle Cruise on the Gateway Clipper? in the Three Rivers?
Pierogi death match.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Can somebody tell me the next time Kaiju Big Battle's coming in?
Oh, please. I've missed it both times.
So angry.
God.
I'll go with you.
My son was to go. I always missed it, damn.
Let's just put you in a suit, bro.
Except for the one time, Jake Garrett and I.
Hello, Jake.
Oh, that was a story there.
What? Is that a Patreon story or?
Okay, so-
okay.
He said he would get us up for free.
Never mind.
So, yeah, we might want to wait on that one.
Okay.
We'll wait
okay.
on that one.
We'll wait on Patreon for that one. Yeah, Kaiju. I love Kaiju.
I've never caught it. I've always missed it. It's like there's no real advertisement for it.
So I've missed a proper show, but I saw it at the Gathering.
Okay.
And I technically saw a match at National Pro Wrestling Day when we went and did
National Pro Wrestling Day.
National Pro
Side
Wrestling.
note, that's another Patreon story for later. You need to tell your gathering story.
You have a Gathering story?
Yeah. To be continued. Make sure to subscribe.
Okay, all right. All right, I need to make notes of these so I know to ask about them later. It was
Write that
Jake
shit
Garrett
down.
and Gathering story.
Something tells me we're not getting to the Guardians holiday special tonight.
I just watched that. It was fucking awesome.
That was amazing. War Games. No, so
War Games.
So the women's match was good. And the men's match was tremendous storytelling.
The story was the match.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
anybody who was going into that match and looking for, brutality and everything else was in the wrong match because that was finally the unfolding of everything. And by everything, I mean the setup for him to finally be accepted and the setup for him to finally be turned on. Everything was in that one match.
When Roman pulled Jimmy back to send in Sammy,
Yeah.
I lost my mind.
Yeah.
because I literally like I was watching with my father-in-law who actually has been watching SmackDown the past month or so because he's been into it, and he has Fox on, and I was like, you want to come over and watch War Games? He's like, yeah, sure, and when War Games started, I saw Jay was starting. I'm like, oh, okay, so Jay is still the punishment guy because he's gonna be in there the longest, and then I said, it'd be really great if Sammy is the second one and not Jimmy. And then I saw it. I'm like, oh, they're doing this so well.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it so well. Like, I'm telling you, Friday, Sammy may officially get his name changed to Sammy Uso, and I'm here for it.
I love it. I like anything that's Uzi.
I hope so.
Like it Uzi.
I don't like it.
Boo! Boo!
Okay, all right, hear him out. Let him have the floor.
Off with his head.
Let him have the floor before we cancel him.
So
we're this is the last time he's on the show.
listen, hear me out on this, okay? If they would have done it like a month or so ago, it would have been a different ball game. But now everything's going into hyperdrive, and this storyline's about to get pushed through the wall because of what they have planned, apparently, for the next couple of months with pay-per-views. So you're going to see, and, always card subject to change, but you're apparently going to get Kevin Owens and the Tribal Chief at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, right?
Makes sense.
Which
Makes
in
sense.
turn, you're going to see the slow turn on Sammy because it's supposed to be Sammy versus Roman in Montreal at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, I haven't.
Oh,
heard
I hadn't heard
that.
that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Montreal, hometown boy, going against him for the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Now,
like,
see, in my head, that's where the bloodline turns on it,
yeah,
and
but
not where there's an actual match.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Because you think about it, like what I'd love to see, and this is pie in the sky. This is never going to happen. I'd love to see Sammy win the Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
and then at Elimination Chamber, Sammy makes his decision, and his decision is between the Tribal Chief and Braun Breaker. And Sammy makes appearances on NXT. He gives Braun a haluva kick. Like, everything looks like he's going after Braun Breaker.
Those when Mike has an idea, he has the entire week to week.
Oh yeah, I have the whole thing.
Like
mapped
he
out.
does manager mode in his head, like on a regular basis. I think.
Yeah.
So
Just on default.
yeah.
It's called storytelling.
sure.
You have to have it. You have to have an end.
In case you
you're not
didn't
telling a
know.
story.
In case you didn't know.
Anyway,
Yeah, you're not. Otherwise, you're not telling the story.
Dean, I don't
You're
think
just throwing out.
I don't think we
ideas.
let Dean finish his through thought though.
I apologize.
So
I
we're on
apologize.
the elimination
No, you're
chamber
good.
idea.
I apologize.
Okay.
But either way, it's got to come to an end right there because then again, this is just everything you read on the bullshit, right? So you never know what's actually going to fucking happen. But
Yeah.
then they're saying that it's going to lead to the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin at WrestleMania for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have all that happening, you're either going to force the turn early or not have enough time to tell the story of the after effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they would have done it about a month ago, whenever he was on Sammy's side more, over Jay, before they actually settled the whole thing. The earning your stripes thing I can see, but I don't like them changing the name now. I think it's too deep in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's almost better to do the turn once the big resistor, which has been Jay, has finally accepted it.
So but don't we?
Because now you can even have a point where Roman is the one that is unsure of Sammy, but because Roman's not a hothead,
Mm-hmm.
Roman keeps it very guarded.
Didn't we do that though? Because did you see the fantastic?
Yeah.
God, I love the camera work at the end of the Survivor Series where you went over, looked, had them celebrating, looked at Kevin, looked at Roman, like kind of.
Oh yeah, that was
You
beautiful.
know, had that look.
I mean,
like,
that also may have been Roman's tinnitus acting up. Who knows?
sure.
Maybe it was from his eardrum exploding.
Yeah.
Good God, what? Wow, yeah.
But I mean, like I almost kind of want to see where Roman, like, sees Sammy hesitate in threatening to take out Owens again in the title match at Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's
And
what's
then-
going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a lot,
Yeah.
of opportunity there, right?
But then Roman is the one that tells the Usos to take out Sammy. But now they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're the ones that are hesitant. Because Jay's always had issues taking orders from Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the way back to their Hell in a Cell match. So, I mean, it could be Solo as the one that takes out. So Sammy, like, kind of creates a little bit of a fracture in the bloodline without even meaning to do so. And it's Roman's own hubris that does it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm gonna have to sleep on that one. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one. Give me
Yeah,
some
like,
thought-provoking ideas here.
yeah, like, I think that might be a fun place to go with it. Like, short of Sammy winning the Rumble and having to do the Batista choice.
Pulling up Batista.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, Sammy can say he wants to go to NXT to bring some more gold to the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
That,
I mean,
that
who
makes
knows?
sense to me.
Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, you had Homeboy cash in Money in a Bank on the United States title.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's true.
who knows?
Which, I mean,
What
any
a-
other person doing
Expect
it,
the
it's a cool
unexpected.
idea.
What a turnaround for Austin Theory, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right? Like they reset his character.
It was
in,
like
2
a
weeks.
quick repackage without sending him away 50 million years.
Yeah.
Dropping him back to NXT. They
Yeah.
did it while keeping him on the main and without
Yeah.
it being like, what the heck is this? I don't understand it, you know.
Let's just have you fail, get
Yeah.
fed up, and
You're
then
pissed.
bring it back around. And now they're doing this like I'm no kid thing,
Yeah.
which works. It's so simple.
I love it.
It's so simple.
And everyone can relate to that too.
Yeah. Like the Seth thing, where it's just like him, like in his ears saying, I'm no kid." You know, like
Yeah.
it's so like quiet and
And don't forget, Theory was aligned with Seth for a while when Seth had disciples.
Yeah.
oh, I forgot about that.
So I mean, there is a history. They haven't really referenced it,
no.
which I'm kind of surprised at. I'm sure that's probably coming,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, like Theory does have experience with being like Seth Rollins' kid,
Mm-hmm.
because Rollins brought up Murphy and Theory as his disciples. So
let's talk about the match of the night. Because it wasn't a cage match.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a triple threat match.
Okay.
oh boy,
It was Balor versus AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I think we already knew that was going to be
It was a
banger.
clinic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Mania match.
It was. It was.
And,
Japan
And I
match
feel like those
Mania.
guys get whiffed on their Mania matches.
and I'm happy that the storyline's not over
Mm-hmm.
because it carried over on Raw, and then the Judgment Day got the upper hand with Rhea getting a pin in that tag match. So I'm happy to see it go. But I don't know if it's going to go all the way to Mania, but I can see those two somehow being involved in the Elimination Chamber match.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
can see
mean,
that.
that could. Well, here's the question too: is Elimination Chamber going to be a Roman defense, or is that going to be a #1 contender? I mean, well,
That's an.
Uh,
I would
I would say
think the
#1
wise man
contender.
wouldn't allow Roman to be in the elimination.
but also, I mean, we're also, we don't know, ideally Roman's going to have both of his belts. It's still going to be unified. There's rumor of them trying to get one of them off of him somehow. So let's presume that he has still a unified title. Would you even do a #1 contender because you got the Royal Rumble? Unless the Royal Rumble
I don't know.
winner randomly goes to NXT or something.
That's hard. I read a story, fan theory, and it sounded fantastic a few months ago. They should have done a ladder match, and the fan theory was have a bunch of guys in there with Roman and have it come down to Roman and Seth on the ladder, and then each of them fall back with one of the titles. And that splits it back to Raw and SmackDown. Keep Roman with the main title that has him going the 800 and whatever days.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one goes to Raw. And I was like, man, that's a really good idea
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't hurt anybody.
I still think they missed a huge opportunity to have someone pin Logan Paul in that match at Crown Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Like for someone to take the Money in the Bank off Theory, especially if he wasn't going to be successful anyway, to have someone cash in on that match. It could have even been Rollins and pin Logan Paul,
Yeah.
and then say, "Oh no, the contract is only for one title."
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that seemed like it was the perfect out. But I mean, who knows? Maybe someone decrees that Roman has to stop defending both belts at once.
I mean, at some point, I'm kind of surprised that the networks allowing this, and by networks I mean USA, because they're getting the fucking shaft.
But they've been doing really good. Like, one thing, when Triple H took over, there was a real strong push to reestablish those Intercontinental and US titles.
Sure.
Right? And I can't remember the last time those had as much weight as they seem to do now.
Yeah.
And also the Raw Women's Division too, which is
Yes.
leaps and bounds stronger than SmackDown.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The matches on Raw are outweighing SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the titles, but they have,
But SmackDown has a great story
they do have a
with the
great
with the
story.
Bloodline stuff.
Well, you have that, and you have Bray,
Mm-hmm.
And you have
Which-
Gunther.
which I love Gunther.
Mhm.
Gunther.
Gunther.
You got them. You got the Brawling Brutes. You got a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff going on. Over
I think that this whole Bray thing, if they don't pull the trigger soon, the fans are going to turn on it.
Yeah, it seems like it's like, how many times? At least they're playing a little bit more with it. We did have him attack LA Knight and things like that in recent
I
weeks.
still
right?
don't know if he attacked LA Knight.
But you said you need him to pull the full trigger.
I still don't know
They
if
gotta-
this is end up.
I think they
I don't-
got
I don't know
to
if this
bring
is gonna
that
be
new
him.
character on television, like
Mhm.
not just on a video.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
really thought they were going to do something at what the fuck was it? War Games. I thought
That's good impression.
Wait. Say it again.
War Games.
Pretty good.
I thought that they were going to do something with LA Knight where he comes out, and then you at least get to see the new character. I just, the fans are so jumpy on things. I like to see things unfold, so it's not really bothering me. But to the knowledge of like my 8-year-old son, who's like, I'm tired of these videos. I just want to see it already. And they have to watch too with wording, like that last promo, him coming out and kind of like turning on them a heel a little bit and be like, all you want is the Fiend in me and blah 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 blah. Like, yeah.
Was
Because
that Friday on SmackDown?
the
I need to watch it.
pay-per-view.
My DVR messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
but-
his
but, like-
promo was based around the fans shitting on him pretty much because all they want is the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
They want the Fiend. Then they did a whole video with Captain or Uncle Howdy. I always say Captain fucking Howdy.
Yeah,
Uncle
so- Captain Underpants.
Uncle Howdy, and calling him a liar. And they had a whole bunch of older videos from when Bray Wyatt first came in and stuff. And they're like, all he's done is lied to you and this and that and the other.
There was a Nexus sighting.
Nexus, yes. There was Nexus. And Dean Ambrose. And that means he must be coming back.
Oh,
Confirmed.
that'd be really,
Confirmed.
that would be really weird
Confirmed
if
from
something
Dean
happens to
Radford.
Wade Barrett in all of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's around.
I
He's around.
didn't even think about that.
Yep, he's hanging
But
out.
that would be
SmackDown.
wild if we could
And then
leave Wade
also,
into all
we'll bring back CM Punk.
Oh, Jesus
Oh
Christ.
boy.
No.
Did you see
David Otunga.
the fan that whoever went online and was losing their shit saying that the tables in the War Games match had an L to it, so that means that Zack Ryder is signed in Long Island.
Oh jeez.
no.
From the chat room, Kavad is in the chat room.
My man.
And he says, I love pierogies. I will die in that match and be perfectly satisfied. We're talking about the pierogi death match on the Gateway Clipper.
Let's do it, brother.
Somebody give me information on renting the...
If
we put
someone knows how we can rent the Gateway Clipper, I'll reach out to
I think
KDKA. We'll get PTL there.
Oh, boy.
Somebody
Oh,
get
boy.
Bubba the Bulldog on.
Hey, listen. Bubba the Bulldog, if you're listening, me and you, TV versus radio, pierogi death match, Gateway Clipper. Book it.
Were we going to get the pierogies from the races for this thing? I mean,
If
a
not-
pierogi in every corner. It would just be like WrestleMania 2000.
We'll get the pierogies. I got
God.
pictures somewhere on my IG. The pierogies are big fans of the Rev Hunt. We'll get one to be the special guest referee, the non-biased one.
Unbiased one.
Yeah, because there's a biased one.
All right. We got
you bring in the
Charles
helpers?
in the chat room. The Rocker Cody will be going after our tribal teeth for Mania, so I see Tammy will have to be gone by then, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, where's Cody fitting on this?
It depends on how he heals, right?
I think he's already healed.
In my soul, fighting time for Cody Rhodes.
Tina in Seattle says it was great to hear the expanded history with Cole mentioning New Japan, even mentioning Apollo 55 and more Bullet Club lore.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All of this.
Who did I? Who was it? Who did I message about this?
Here's the thing that like I look at. It's like it's amazing how quickly you have seen things change within about the last couple of months with Triple H running things, and it's a refreshing thing. And it's one of those things. It's like we finally get it. We've been saying it, but to actually see it in action, we're like, see, this is what the people want all along. Like, people aren't stupid. Don't try to piss in their eyes with it. But it's like if you acknowledge it, it brings more prestige and it gives you deeper storytelling in regards of it. So I mean, I like the stuff. You can connect more dots with it,
And you connect more with the fans that know all this stuff, and they'll be like, somebody's like, what are they talking about? You're not, and also, why not mention the other companies? Because you're WWE, these guys are not competition,
Exactly.
right at this point.
Exactly.
Well, if you think about it, when for example, we talked about Sami Zayn earlier. When Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were going back and forth with each other, the very first time, a good amount of that crowd, there was just a different energy because a lot of the crowd knew, listen, these guys have been on it back and forth, Indies, Ring of Honor, this and that. So people know it, but then it's not addressed, and it's like,
Like you don't ignore AA baseball when they get called up to the major leagues.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not gonna hurt you.
And there's no, it doesn't hurt you when you're WWE like that. You know, AEW does a really good job about that, about talking. Hey, this guy did stuff in NWA and this and that and the other thing, and they mention like random companies, you know, that they've been a part of, and they address like the Anthony Henry and Darby Allin feud. Like I think they said this is their X match.
Yeah.
When they were on Rampage last week.
Yep.
And most of those happen in Defy Wrestling, you know, like that kind of thing, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like don't ignore it, you know, we're
Yes,
acknowledging
but
it.
at the
it's
same
all part
time,
of
like you have to walk a fine line of not ignoring it and focusing too much on it.
true, but if there's a storyline that can come in through that enhances what's happening here,
if it makes
you
your
know,
current thing a little richer, I mean, I would
right. How
personally
many
mention
times, like at a certain point, WWE started using a lot of Ring of Honor footage, especially when addressing Kevin Owens and CM Punk, when we did a lot of these kind of background. Of course on their documentaries, but also like in I think Kevin Owens, like a lot of times in his promos about his history was certain people he'd run into again, right? They're in WWE now, like that still existed. Like that's nice. We can like that's not going to happen now probably, but since Tony owns all the footage, but still like it to me it you know, you don't have to do as much work on that storytelling when it already exists.
Exactly.
You know, and you can just work off of that, you know, not to be lazy, but to, you know, work smarter, not harder, I think, at a certain point.
It's you should never hide from fact-based info, right?
Right.
Because number one, everybody wins from it. So, you know, AEW doesn't think twice about mentioning WWE.
Right.
I was talking to Troy Lords about it actually, about when Michael Cole was dropping the knowledge. And I was like, it's so cool to hear New Japan mentioned on WWE, right? And it's not that they're doing it in a marquee way; they're doing it to put over history, right? And when these guys have the history and they're talking about Bullet Club and all that other stuff, I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's a win-win for everybody.
It's better than say we're the OG club and then winking at everybody, and then half the audience is sitting at home and like, what the hell they mean? Like, what the hell are they talking about? What is
not
this?
everyone's gonna
Why
get-
are they doing the DX click thing? I don't understand this. You know, like you're missing a whole subsection of history that makes that work, and nobody's going to get mad about you mentioning it.
And
on
that's
the
why
other
they need to,
companies.
because with the fan with no knowledge except for what they've been brainwashed with, this is NWO.
Yep.
This is the click. That's it. That's all it's ever meant. So without the knowledge of everything else, they look like, oh, why are these guys stealing stuff? So they have to mention this stuff, because without mentioning it, they're not smartening up their audience.
Right. Tina's mentioning Vic on NXT tonight was actually mentioning the PWA Australia history between Grayson Waller and Duke Hudson.
Wow,
That's a deep
That's
cut.
wild.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
was gonna say.
wild deep cut.
that's wild.
That's great. Jeez. I need to watch more. I keep forgetting how much stuff is on the network. Because it got recommended to me on my Google TV. I got like the WXW Femme Fatales, which is like in fucking Germany. It was like the 2019, and it had like Session Moth was on it. I can't remember who else was somebody with like not a lot of people I recognize.
Jazzy on it?
Who?
Was Jazzy Gabbard on it?
Is she the same name back then?
I believe
I
so.
didn't recognize her. And I'm trying to remember who else might have popped up on it, but it was interesting. I got like probably halfway through it before dozing off, but it's late because it's
now
boring.
I'm checking out.
I've been putting on random wrestling while I'm going to bed. So
legit Layla Hirsch on there.
yeah, Layla Hirsch. That was the other one. It was cool to see like Layla Hirsch on like WWE Network. You know,
Lufisto's on there.
Yeah, Lufisto was on that one. Yep,
on there.
Yep. And
okay, so it was just an 8-person tournament.
Yeah, it was a women's tournament. It was only like an hour and a half too. And they have a second one on there too. But generally kind of wanted to like poke at those. What's going on over there? And it was. Let me check. There's one more note in here. As long as it's an explanation and not just yelling a name that 70% of the people go, who is that?
Penis.
Yeah, like that.
He was a great wrestler.
But no, seriously, like if you look at it, and if WWE starts referencing their guys, they'll know how much the WWF guys actually did overseas.
Yeah.
I just shared the clip today because it was a fantastic match of Hulk Hogan versus Tenryu.
Oh, I saw that.
It's a great match.
What? Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, it was like Hulk Hogan fucking chain wrestling.
Doing
I'm like,
a drop toe. Doing a drop toe.
No, don't stop there. Did you see the Enziguri?
I didn't.
He got air.
He does the
Hogan did an
You gotta
enziguri?
watch that
Hogan
match.
did an Enziguri.
Yes.
I'll resend it to you if you
Dude,
can
it
pull
was
it up.
sick.
Send that
Like,
to me, yeah.
and I've watched this match over and over, and it's just one of
What
those
year
things
was
that-
this?
That was 91, I think.
91.
Yeah. But like
Exactly.
also in hindsight, like the Road Warriors, the Undertaker, they were all over there. Like there's a match with the Undertaker and I think Hakushi in Japan. It was a great match.
Is he Taker at this point?
He's Taker
Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
I think he
Oh,
was
there-
Purple Rim Taker with.
There's also a match from 1990 of the Macho
I just
Man
sent it to you on
versus
Facebook Messenger.
Macho Man and who?
Tenryu.
Oh, jeez.
I'm putting that one in the chat, and I will probably watch it as soon.
Yeah,
as
Hulk
is
Hogan
the show?
during an Enziguri.
Because I don't care about Hogan, honestly. He's a piece of shit. But
Wait.
I don't care that he worked.
Listen. What do I always say? Childhood fandom of Hulk Hogan. Dean, you're with me on this.
I'm with you.
Feel like Hulk Hogan, biggest fan. Can't even.
Yeah,
like, I
that's
cannot
great.
deny it.
Sorg, that was your childhood.
Yes.
Terry.
Guess who I hated when I was a kid? I hated Hulk Hogan and I hated the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay. All right.
But
I
that's
love the
okay.
Macho Man.
That's okay.
and
That's
Big
okay.
Boss.
I love Macho Man
You
too.
could have also been one of them kids that grew up that didn't even know who the hell he was and was more of an NWA fan and only knew Ric Flair. You know, and the Road Warriors and Sting and those guys.
Let me have this, man. Let me have this.
Don't take it from him.
Don't take Hulk Hogan from me.
Let him have it.
Fuck Terry Bollea. Don't take Hulk Hogan.
Listen.
Don't take the Ultimate Warrior.
We're not
Fuck Jim
talking
Hellway.
Terry.
No.
We're talking Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Don't
Hashtag-
take Chris Jericho from me.
Hashtag Hulk.
Kurt Angle's fine.
So don't take Chris Jericho, but I can badmouth Chris Irvine.
Yes,
all I want.
absolutely.
Listen.
I don't
Okay,
give a shit.
all right.
I just somebody
Chris Irvine was fucking terrible on the match.
and I appreciate. And by the way, somebody in the business was telling me they were giving Chris as much shit as you probably would about the things that you have problems with him. So like it is universal, okay? So
Good.
yeah, like,
It should be.
Yes, he's being taken to task for these
it
kinds of
should
things
be
that you have
universal.
concerns with, okay? But I don't give a shit about Chris Irvine's politics. Chris Jericho's fucking fantastic wrestler and still killing it and should not be doing this good at his age.
That's very true.
Holy fuck. You know?
But you gotta think he gets the double whammy. You're doing
You know what?
concerts and wrestling.
I think you know what it is. You know what it is. He had those matches with Ricky Steamboat like what a decade ago, right? Who just came back again, of course. And remember, we're like, oh my god, Ricky Steamboat can still go.
Yeah.
I think he shared his secrets with Chris Jericho.
You know that had to be it. Because someone did say that. They're like, listen, I think that like his last match were like, listen, this could easily be on TV and be TV quality.
What, Steamboat?
Yeah.
That thing from
Yeah.
I didn't get, it was oh, of course it was on pay-per-view or something, right? So
But they're like, listen, we can see this on Raw. Like,
yeah. Paul might be calling him up, and
You
he
know,
might be on Raw 300s or Raw 30s coming up, right?
You know what this is.
Hey, you know what? If we're booking Raw 30, I'd love to see Steamboat versus Chad Gable.
Let's do it.
I'd love to see it.
Let's do it.
Do you know what the secret is?
What?
Vodka.
you know, if that's the case, and I'm just gonna wither away. You know, I'm more of a tequila guy. Big shout out if you ever need tequila, Terramana Tequila. Terramana Tequila. Shout out to Dwayne
I gotta
Rock.
put a tag on this show.
What you're drinking.
Yeah. Mana for your mama. Get it for Mother's
don't
Day.
tequila.
You got
Don't.
time.
It's bad news. It's bad news.
Terramana will not make your clothes
That was a
fall
hard.
off,
That was a
okay?
hard Christmas. That was a hard Christmas.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Oh.
I wish we could buy Terramana for only $7. That's my only problem.
Speaking of bad decisions, the STD Christmas party is going to come back in a couple weeks. That's going to be
Forget
on,
those guys. Just Flexer pulled a gun on me. What do you
It was
mean?
a Lego gun.
Yeah, I didn't know that, man. It gave me PTSD, man. Like, come on.
Like, you pointing one at me too.
Oh, listen, we need to talk about this.
And that one had one in the chamber.
Wow, that's a rough one. I'm
Well,
sorry.
at least
about
I
that.
know. Well, you know what?
If you ever need a hug or need to talk, Dean and I are here. For you.
You realize the makeup of yourself when you find yourself in a situation where the gun has been pointed at you, and I realized exactly what I'll do because I did it. What I did was I stepped behind the ring announcer.
Listen, you have a little bit further of a run. You got an opportunity to get away. They always say if you have a barricade or a barrier, you're
I
good.
human shielded his ass.
You said, listen, I appreciate everything you've done, but forget you. I'm going to survive.
He's pointed at him to call the match, and then I'm beside him. I'm just like, I'm just like,
Sometimes you have to have sacrifice.
I'm a fucking coward.
You know
is what I learned.
You know what? You did better than me. What was my idea? Oh, let me sneak behind him and schoolboy him.
That'll work next time you're in the middle of a
I'm gonna try that in the
stick
bar
up,
one day
right?
or something.
What's-
Please, sir, don't take my debit card. Small package.
Tonight at 11, this convenience store robbery was upheld where local pro wrestler the Rev Ron Hunt schoolboyed the offender.
Yeah.
It's like saying it's okay. I've got a bulletproof vest on. What if he shoots you in the face?
You know what? We didn't talk about that when I was training to be a paramedic for Ezekiel. But that is a question I'll bring
Who
up.
is
to the,
Ezekiel? Have you heard from Ezekiel?
You know, he's been off the grid for a while. I did talk to his mom and dad. They're still pretty distraught. But
Did anybody notice that Elias was wearing an "I'm Not Elias" shirt this week on the show?
Yeah, he sure did.
I got a lot of Daredevil vibes.
Yeah,
Great.
I was just like, well, this is meta as fuck. Okay.
Now, here's gonna be the real fun thing. Elias and Riddle have a match
Good
against the
job.
Usos next week.
I'm sorry, Elias and Riddle have the Usos next week.
Yeah, does Kevin Owens interfere? And if so, how does Elias treat that? 'Cause Kevin Owens and Elias not on the best of terms.
I think Kevin's busy right now, but yeah,
Yeah, but he's busy. He's busy with Usos.
yes.
he's
Because Roman ain't coming to Raw.
Oh, I think
he's
it's
treating his mini Usos right now. Okay, he's treating his mini Usos right now.
By the
Yeah.
way, for SmackDown's Christmas, we have to get a segment called "A Very Oozy Christmas," right?
please. Oh, they're working on it now. You know it.
Have yourself a very Uzi Christmas. I like it. It got a ring to it. It got a
if we
ring
could all
to
be
it.
doing harmonies like New Edition, I'd love it.
Oh my god.
Oh, you remind me. We gotta start putting the 12 days list together.
Oh man.
You participating again this year?
Oh, I will.
Yeah, you're the first one. Dean, you got a good singing
you-
voice,
Dean, you
right? You
got
get
it.
on the 12 days.
I'm in.
You've seen the 12 days videos
I'm
with
in.
you, right?
Yeah, I'm in.
Is this his first one?
Putting the
That is
12
guy.
days.
Oh yeah.
So the first one we were going to do, I caught COVID and I didn't have a voice. I couldn't do anything.
Oh.
And I said, Sorg, I'm sorry. I can't.
I think like 3 people had COVID and couldn't return videos in.
Wow.
I was dying.
Yeah. Oh, that's when everybody got it. That's when like.
Yourself a Merry COVID Christmas.
Yeah, we don't want that this year, brother.
No. Anyways, You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to a break here. Wait, go ahead. Go ahead. Anything else, WWE? AEW.
I guess I'll start
Chris
working
Benoit.
on this 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah, you should probably start working on that. I need to get something out like this week. So I'll start on the list. I gotta do the call out. I gotta do the call out this week.
Jesus.
What's happening?
Okay.
What's happening? What's happening?
Rev choked himself on the Joker around his neck.
What?
Joke. I'm sorry, we don't want to get you canceled.
So it's a Joker.
It's a
We
Joker.
don't want to get you canceled. We'll talk about it during commercial.
All right,
break.
we'll go to a commercial. In the meantime, please go check out IndieWrestling.us. Check out our YouTube channel, especially premiering tonight for free is MV Young's Very Illegal Thanksgiving show from last Wednesday. Go check that out. A lot of fun we had there. And we cut out the parts where apparently where MV and I were yelling at each other before the show. I didn't know that made it into the one he released last week. Okay. But we took that one down. But anyways, yeah, go check out that. A lot of free stuff going on there. Of course, check out Spotlight Slam happening on Fight TV Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Some great stuff from Rise Wrestling, RWA, VCW, and 2PW. And of course, with dates and everything coming up there. And of course, we're getting geared up for December 11th for the VCW pay-per-view on Fight. And a lot of great stuff there. A lot of information that's already up on the Fight TV page. Make sure you got a bookmark, pre-order, however you want to do. Sign up for Fight Plus or however you want to do that. You probably already are with AIW and GCW over there. So go check that out. Our premiere for that company and over on Fight TV. A lot of other great stuff. Rise Wrestling, the tag tournament, is now up on the network as well as YouTube and VOD. The latest RWA, the latest 2PW. Had a great match with Gory and John McChesney leading off that show.
Amazing.
Or heading off that show, I guess. It's both wrong. Anyways, a lot of stuff. Everybody, it's there. There's a lot of great stuff for you guys to check out. And this Saturday, we are also going to be releasing, before all the shows happen. Wait, though, this Saturday or next Saturday? Where did I put that? This Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday, we're going to do VCW's first show is going to be premiered for free over on the YouTube page as well. So go check all that stuff out. Plenty of matches from so many promotions over the years over on the YouTube page. And subscribe and just put on that stream and enjoy it. It's on 24/7 as long as the internet didn't go down in this neighborhood. So, which is always fun. That's how I know if the power is on at the studio.
You just know if it goes out.
I pull up YouTube and see if the stream's still running.
You're like, okay, all right, the power's still on.
Yeah, the power's still on. All right, we're good. Yeah, because I'll get like the Verizon, like there's a commercial interruption in your area, text messages apparently, and then I go like, nope, we're good. I'm still watching Fight Underground matches.
Fuck.
They're all in there. Hey, that was a good time. That was a good time.
It's actually a very good time.
It was a really good time. It was. Hey, there's worse ways to spend COVID.
Yeah.
Pandemic.
That was one of the things, like time traveling. When looking back, I'm like, can't believe we were all doing that. Even now, when you look back at the Thunderdome, I was like, wow, this was really a thing. We were watching on a weekly basis.
I warmed up to WWE 2K. I don't think I've played it since the expansion pack started coming out, so I had a lot of things to hit okay on. But the first match, random match, I let the arena do whatever, and it was like a Thunderdome, and I'm like, oh fuck.
It was it's like you forget about it, but then you remember it as soon as you see. You're like, we were really like watching this. Like,
yeah, it's
they really
wild.
did this.
There was a throwback clip. Impact.
I'll still say though, like, if we didn't have the Thunderdome, I don't think the Roman storyline would have worked.
Nope. There's so much that would not have happened.
Is.
There's so many plans that just got thrown off the rails, and just like anything, you took away Brock, you took away Goldberg, and a lot of people just had chances to shine, right? Yep. And it created opportunity for a lot of people. Sammy wouldn't be where he was if he wasn't going off doing that Sammy. Paranoid Sammy documentary.
Bailey
too. Bailey as well. Bailey shined through that.
Good
Sasha
God,
did as well.
Lord,
like
Bailey.
you found out who the real fucking stars of WWE were, and of many companies actually that could survive in that environment.
That was the best thing that could ever happen for McIntyre.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I feel like he's the one guy that got really hosed.
He did get hosed, but in the same sense, he also carried that shit on his back the best that he could with the
He
opportunity.
did, but he still hasn't gotten that payoff. He hasn't gotten the reward for carrying it.
I think headlining Clash at the Castle in your
I was
home.
gonna say,
that's a good
you know he
reward.
didn't get the W, but man,
That's a feeling.
I mean, he got to sing for his home crowd in the middle of a WrestleMania-sized event.
Yeah.
You know, like that's something. No, win or lose,
I
that's
think
a
he
win.
probably would have preferred to win the title. But,
Sure, I mean, you always would prefer to win the title, but damn it,
at the end of the day, it's how much money you make and your position on the card. And as long as he continues to position higher up into the card, making the money and getting pushed, he don't need the title anymore.
That's right. That's right. And if
Very
you get to
true.
do stuff like that and be the figurehead when they go into a country like that, I mean, that's fantastic. That's good news. And Drew's doing fine. Drew's gonna be okay.
Sure.
So, all right, we're gonna take a quick break and come right back, and we're gonna ask Rev about how his neck's doing. Look, we'll be back. We are back. It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. 8:40. We got the right one here. We got Mad Mike, of course, out of Beacon, New York. He's got the.
Now I'm trying to think of things that rhyme with Lords of Leaping.
What?
Chris Benoit.
Nope.
No.
He is
perma-banned from Christmas.
Perma-banned from Christmas.
In fact, he just calls it Mus.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't think he calls it anything right now. But okay.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I mean, he did have killer matches back then.
The
He's
Rev,
just chill.
the Rev Ron Hunt.
We're in the building, baby.
Yeah, that's right. And Dean Radford, trainer to the next star you're going to see on WWE TV. I don't know. The way they're snapping them up, holy shit.
Dude, it's crazy. Listen, they're getting you before you're even out of high school at this point.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the way Thea got thrown in there and is like, she's definitely one of the highlights of NXT. The whole Chase U thing is obvious.
I love it.
But
Yeah.
Stronghold.
Chase U isn't going to recruit itself, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. What? They're kind of shrinking though, aren't they?
Well, the one guy got
No,
let go, didn't he?
they've expanded.
You
They've
know,
expanded? Okay.
tuition there has went up a little bit, so during the time tuition has gone up at Chase U just a wee bit.
Oh, I didn't know if you were talking about Chase U or the Stronghold.
No, we're still
still kicking good. We're still kicking good. Chase U tuition. Oh man, thanks for sharing.
Did you bring an orange? Did you bring like your own snack pack or
Don't
something?
judge me.
I don't have an orange.
Would you
back
like
there,
an
did
orange?
I?
Would you like a piece of orange?
I just
Wait,
bought
guys,
bananas.
we have orange slices after the podcast.
Yeah.
Not during halftime.
Welcome to. Is it that
We
time?
do slice of oranges now and slice of Broadway before we leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's happening right now?
Listen, I left the hard stuff at home, so I'm eating an orange.
That's what she said.
Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. All right, let's get into it. Rev, you've had a bit of a neck ache the last couple of months.
Dude, this is like a neck, dude. Sorry, I had to be.
I get it.
That, but
I've dealt with J-Rock before. I understand.
dude, don't even get me started on that jabroni. Oh. Was this serious? Could I be honest for a second?
Yes, please.
When aren't you honest?
I can't. I don't like the guy. I can't stand him.
Understood.
I think that he's a big boulder head, over conceited, pompous, idiotic. I'm not even just gonna say Pittsburgh Jagoff, but
He ain't Pittsburgh.
He's not Pittsburgh.
Cleveland.
yeah,
Look at
he's
that.
Cleveland. That's even more. He's just a big fat turd. Is pretty much what it comes
big
down
fat
to.
turd.
I've been in the ring with a lot of people. I've been able to do a lot of things. Some that have had way more experience, some that have had way less experience. J-Rock to me is one of the most selfish SOBs that I've ever met in this business. Right now, the way that it kind of is, the neck is feeling a little bit good. I'm not fully clear to allow me to test it to a certain limits, and there's a lot of strict things that they had me going through. Fortunately, I was able to get a cortisone shot, so it is feeling pretty good. But the colder it gets, the more it starts to suck even more. But when it comes down to it, I don't like the guy. I can't stand him. And I think he's one of those guys that he tries to capitalize off of anything that he gets. So the fact that he tries to do what he does, my thing is I'm all about still keeping professional, still keeping a sane mind, and dealing with things on the media side of things outside of the fans' perspective, behind closed curtains where it should stay. But when it comes down to it, if they do clear me, whenever they fully clear me, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get real interesting. So
He has always been all about himself.
yeah,
Ever since, God, how long ago was it, Sorg? When I had to deal with him in
2000.
IWC, he was saying his head was so big he couldn't fit in the door. Oh, my God. Every time you come in, you had to make sure you gave it up one time for J-Rock.
So my question is, and Dean, you've probably known him longer than me.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question,
gone to
Sorg.
battle.
I can
We've
ask
gone
you
to
this
battle.
question too, Sorg. What exactly are we giving up one time?
You know, in the like 15 years that I've been aware of J-Rock, I'm not sure.
So
I've never
in
figured it
that
out.
time, have you given it up 15 times?
I think we've asked him, Mike. We've asked him here on the show, haven't we?
I believe so. But I remember I only gave it up one time, and that was probably in 2008.
Were you walking awkward after?
Not not especially. You know,
Okay.
didn't last long.
Okay. All right. This is one thing I've been wondering. But the fact is with this, man, honestly, I do want to give a big, huge thing, and I put them over on social media with the RWA Wrestling fans there. Tremendous people. Those have been people that I consider friends. I can consider family of mine. They look out after me. They send me messages. They give me video calls, video messages, and everything like that. And that is really what helps the recovery process a little bit easier. A lot of times that you see, man, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I smile, it's to just hide some of this pain and the fact that I can't go full go at this bad boy right now. But I am optimistic. I do feel good. I don't feel my best. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I'm gonna take that as as it is and keep it trucking, man.
All right. Mark in the chat room says J-Rock sucks. He's a piece of shit.
He sucks more than a $2 prostitute.
Go.
Is he worse than the dollar steaks at Dollar Tree?
Absolutely. I'm not even going to give him credit to say he's from Five Below.
Listen, now on the real, if I can give you any advice, the thing that I want to make sure you understand is dealing with J-Rock for many years. Yes, J-Rock is egotistical. Yes, J-Rock toots his own horn. But J-Rock had the best time of his life learning and traveling with someone who trained him mentally to be one of the best, and that's Tracy Smothers. God rest his soul. Now, when you're getting in the ring with J-Rock, where he may be egotistical and he may be just pain in the ass, he can work.
Absolutely.
And you can't take that away from him. And over the years, he's also preserved himself like Ozzy and got himself in great shape, probably the best shape he's been in his whole career, honestly.
Ozzy or J-Rock?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to not take him for granted because he will get you. He is just, he's an assassin in the ring. I mean, look what he did to your neck.
Yeah, that was very true. He did something no one's ever been able to do. And so that's the thing. I think a lot of people, they always thought like, well, you're ever so sorry. And I told him this. I say, listen, it's the nature of the beast. Dean, you and I, out of all people, know things happen. It's the nature of the beast. It's
Sure.
what we signed up for. It's what we signed contracts for.
Right.
But at the end of the day, there's still a certain decorum and professionalism. And you know what it is. You feel like you're at the top of the mountain. There's always someone that try to take you down. And one of the things he's always said is, listen, man, I helped your boy Shane Taylor. I taught your boy how to be your boy. And that's what it is. And like you said, I'm not going to take nothing away from. I've seen this guy. I've studied him. Even going into these things and talking to different people that's in the office at RWA, I know what the guy's about. Clearly, on the other end of things and on the worst end of things, I'm just fortunate that it wasn't fully broken. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, it could have been. So what fuels me to try to get back to the best of my ability is it could have been.
Sure.
Because my career could have been done without me even knowing it.
Yeah. And you have to look at the fact, too, is, you know, through the years that I dealt with J-Rock, he did put a huge influence in Shane Taylor and Ray Rowe. And, you know, Sorg, you were there for those years. You saw that, too.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one mentoring them to become what they are today.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that you're not just dealing with someone who's been in the business for 20-some years, right? He does have in his head the ability to cripple you mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need backup,
I'm going to
You
keep
let
that
me
in mind.
Getting interesting. So RWA next in 2 Saturdays on the 10th.
Yep.
It's going to be Seasons Beatings.
Yeah.
Like, what's your prospect there? You're going to be you're still. What's the prognosis looking for that?
So
he was egging you on pretty good last show.
Yeah, and he almost got me. That's what I'm saying. I will tell you this: J-Rock is a man of his words.
I think you had an entire crowd betwing you and him.
Yeah, I think a lady tried to beat up her security. Someone said they got elbowed. She bit somebody, and so that crowd was behind me. They had to pull a guy from the ring. He was about to get in the ring, and I could say, man, J-Rock, me out of all people, I know a little bit about words, and to pull me a little bit out of character. I'm gonna give you that. You almost had me, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So the way that I look at it like this, they've allowed me to test it. I just tested it. We were out in Erie. I was out there with Shane Taylor. I was able to kind of test it out there. I'm gonna try to test it a little bit this weekend. Now the thing that they have right now is they allow me to try to test it in some multi-man matches because they're hoping that I'm not in the ring as much. Mm-hmm. So it's just enough to try to get it warmed up. My goal is to keep doing this training, keep doing this therapy, and hopefully they can fully clear me by December 10th. If they can, I plan every opportunity to punch him square in his mouth. So hopefully all this goes good. I have one of my final testings a little bit later next week leading into December 10th, so we'll see what happens from there.
And to your credit, this isn't smoke and mirrors. You know, Rev's out there at the Stronghold with the trainees, taking the basic bumps, getting the feeling back in, the standard stuff, getting the simple, easy stuff down that you need to work that neck. So, you know, it's not just blowing smoke out there, J-Rock. You're going to be giving up one time for not the daddy. You're going to be giving up for Rev.
Yeah, baby.
But in hindsight, you tell Feel Bad and you tell whoever that if you need someone in your corner, I got you.
You know, that sounds pretty ratifying.
You know, I'll eradicate the fuck out of somebody. I'm just saying.
That turned me on, brother.
I see it poking up.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's an orange pill. Never mind.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Well, let's move it on. Unfortunately, the same night, fans got to choose. Although I think everybody's already in their camps picking one or the other. I know RWA fans ain't going nowhere, and same with the guys down the road at Rise. It's going to be the 6th anniversary. Did we determine?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at? Man, I can't believe that comes.
Isn't that amazing?
Crazy.
I remember I was there from the jump when they were running, and then even helping with like some post show stuff and commentary and everything. So I think with Brandon K and all hands on deck, Chrissy, their whole entire family and everything like that. Dean, the students that are there that are growing, some that have graduated, that are on the show full time, the people that are driving in, flying in. It's all hands on deck. So I think it's something good to see. Positivity of a company.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing about it too is only being 6 years.
Yeah.
They was able to get through the pandemic and stay alive.
And a venue problem with that too.
A venue problem.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that one.
I mean, it's been one uphill battle after the next, and I'm not here to tell Brandon's story because that's obviously more to the detail on his end. But just from seeing things on the back end and looking at it, and that Uniontown location is fantastic.
A lot of expand. I always love the commercial we did here that we run here is because I saw the pictures and I'm like, this looks cool. I want to get a camera in here and see what it looks like. And even where they're running the shows down there, they got room to grow. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of nice because it felt like the theater was kind of like hitting its like we could only fit so many more people in there.
But in the same sense too, where the theater was cool, the theater was a drag, right? Because it was just dingy.
Yes.
When you get an open space like that, and you have the fans all the way around the ring, the voices are bouncing through the building, the music's blaring, the entrance is nice and large. You're not confined to this little space. It feels like a wrestling show,
and they're growing into it. Like I noticed the last show when I was editing it, there was there's new lights and everything going on to get the spruce that up a bit. Like they're growing into it and figuring out the space still.
Yeah,
and that's they're still young to that space too because I know they've been doing back and forth between that and Baldwin.
Right.
So no, and I've never been to that. I've never been to the new Uniontown shows yet. So and I'm hoping I can get there in the very near future, but. No, very cool stuff going on there. The biggest news from next week, and we got feelers out. We're going to try to get AJ Alexander on the show because I know he is being put in pretty much a dream match next week.
Yeah,
like this match with here. Let me pull it up over here. So Christian Noir and Laura Lovelace against AJ Alexander and Sumi Sakai.
Yeah.
Who I believe was the longest Ring of Honor Women's Champion,
Yep,
was it?
and she was the inaugural.
Or Women of Honor, or
Yep.
I think I'm getting my belts confused maybe. But yeah, so that's going to be huge.
No, I think it was
for
Ring
them.
of Honor.
Was it Ring of
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
It was a second belt that they did,
Yep.
right? Okay. So though that's going to be a very big one. The anniversary shows are usually like the first show I went to was an anniversary show. That was Brandon and Duke Davis.
Yeah.
Going at it on that one. Pretty Boy Smooth, Edric Everhard for the Rise Grand Championship. Who is there man, we got a lot of great champions in the Pittsburgh area, but and all respect to the Rev. But he's had it for most of the year, and PB's been like everywhere with that belt.
I would say congrats to him. I think and I believe starting with our inaugural Lee Moriarty, if I'm correct. But even going through it, just to see how each champion has been able to transcend the belt in their own way. And I think one of the most notable ones is you're seeing PB defending it, like, for example, all the way on the West Coast against former WWE superstars like JTG. But I think it's the prestige and the honor of holding a championship and wanting to make it even more relevant than it was than the previous champion. And I think no matter where the company goes in the future, if every champion just looks at how they can do their best to continue to grow the relevancy of it, that's how you help the company as a whole grow as the face of that company. So big shout outs and respect to PB doing his thing out there for Rise Wrestling.
Absolutely. I can't think of a belt that's been as well traveled since like early IWC days.
Yeah.
Right? Like the what was the international belt that they like Soldier had and stuff?
It was what was it? It was the international heavyweight title, I believe it was.
Okay.
But in the same sense too, I believe did Doe take the
I think
Super Indie title or the heavyweight title?
I think the heavyweight title got around some places too. Yeah.
I think Hentai he defended the Super Indie title in Hawaii and
That's right, I forgot about the Hawaii show.
I can't remember. Man,
Or for hentai, Hawaii.
HL Supreme.
HL Supreme.
HL Supreme.
But yeah, I mean, I don't remember if Glenn had anything when he went over.
Glenn Spector.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he might have had a tag title. I can't remember. Like those years are foggy. Too many concussions.
The vodka, as we discussed earlier. Right?
No, it's definitely the concussions. Definitely the concussions.
Try to give him street cred on that one.
Trying to help out,
But I just, there was a few times. I mean, and for me, I mean, I didn't get to take a title from Pittsburgh over, but it doesn't matter where you are. Like when I was living in Arizona, wrestling for IZW in Phoenix, I was the NWA Arizona heavyweight champion and then the IZW heavyweight champion. When I went to Japan, I had those titles with me over there too.
Okay.
So, and that wasn't the first time the IZW title went over, but it's one of those things where you never know when you're going to get an opportunity. To Rev's point, like you got to keep pushing. No matter where you are, what company you're in, you're representing the company. If you get an opportunity to go somewhere, try and interact everything you have. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like the guys who sit out there with 15 different title belts with pictures and everything else. It's like, okay, I mean, it's one indie, you've seen them all. It's whatever.
Yep.
They don't mean anything. They don't have a contract to you, so they don't mean anything. You're just another indie champion. It's cool. Kudos to them for the companies believing in them, but there was only one person who had prestige to a shot like that, and it was Ultimate Dragon when he had all the belts. And I'll give Sterling his due too, because when Sterling had a lot of those belts too, he had the 1PW and all that other stuff.
The current Corey Graves, for those who
Corey
don't know.
Graves, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay.
So,
It's just for the newbies out there that
Gotcha,
don't know.
gotcha,
They don't
gotcha.
know. Not everybody's in depth in Pittsburgh history. like we are.
For the wrestling fetuses out there.
Yeah. Some people are from Seattle. Some people are from the West Coast. In California. They don't know. They don't know who Sterling James Keenan is. They should.
They should. Yeah.
They should.
Do your research,
YouTube
children.
it. Go look at the Indie Wrestling YouTube. We got a lot of the stuff over there. So, including a War Games match, actually.
So that was a great match. Troy Lords and I were just talking about this.
We were talking about it, I think, last week or something.
Where do we find this footage of it?
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
We both tried to find it. I couldn't see it anywhere.
It's on. It's gotta be
you got to
on there.
find it and send me the
I'm
link.
looking. It's on there. Come on.
Send me the link.
And is that the only time there was a 2-ring War Games?
It's the only time there was a 2-ring War Games, and did we talk about this last time we were here? I can't remember.
Maybe.
We'll talk about it again.
I love
So,
it. It's my favorite thing. And I was a month away from seeing this because I came to the next show. After that, I missed it.
So the best part
I'll
about
never forgive myself.
We're sitting there. We help get everything up because, it's one of those things where you got 2 rings, 2 cages. You got to set everything up first to make sure everything's going to link together, right? We get the cages up, and I'm standing with Norm, and I look, and I'm like, there's a gap in the middle.
I remember having this discussion. I don't know if it was on the show, but I remember this discussion.
There's a gap in the middle. What are we going to do? I don't know. Well, let's say fuck it and go get barbed wire. So we just wrap
the gap
barbed
right
wire.
there. There's the gap.
We wrap barbed wire from the top to the bottom. If that camera cuts over, you'll be able to see it.
Good God.
But who's that? That's Dennis Gregory, and that
Looks like
is
Sebastian
Dark.
Yep.
Bleeding, guts all over. As always.
We're just gonna bring this up every time you come on the show.
That's
probably.
okay, because this is one of the largest crowds in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Um,
In Pittsburgh history.
yeah. Oh, look at that. That's great.
Definitely needed more cameras. I think
There
they
it is.
probably
There's the
still.
barbed wire.
There's the barbed
Oh,
wire.
it's-
There it
Is
is.
that one camera working his whole show?
I think they had one camera
That's,
working the whole show. Yeah.
Troy Lords. Oh, it was fantastic. At first, they were like, let's put the camera on the inside. And they were like, no, I'm not doing that. Why? Because I don't want to get hit. And it
Oh,
was like,
come on.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
TF, what are you doing? Throw Marcus in there. He'll fucking.
Yeah, you're talking to the guy that did, what was that, 8-person War Games in the smallest cage I've ever seen a few months ago.
What was that, VCW?
That was VCW. It was that one. And it was so tight. I was like, oh, I'll have room. I did this for Marshall's last match at IWC.
You had no
right?
room.
Yeah. Well, no, I was fine there. With this one, it was like every time they hit the ropes, they just like punched me in the gut. And I was like scraping the back of my shirt on the back of the cage. It was the scariest cage I've ever seen.
All I know is during this match, there I am. Oh, not that's dark.
That's-
But
You're in there somewhere.
Here I am, right there.
There-
Boom.
hey!
Hey, there's the reason.
There's
my
a leg
phone-
drop.
Falling out of the sky.
Just eradicated
Jesus
him.
Christ.
Yes.
Radicized.
That's the reason my hip hurts
fucking
every
late.
day. I love it. It's fucking great. 20 years of fucking leg drop off a second. But no, so
What?
the best part is when Abyss comes out, and I don't know if you can find this shot while we're doing this right now.
I'll see what I can do here.
Abyss comes out, and he ends up getting a hold of Troy Lord's right at him, and he literally just
Oh, here he
shoots
is.
him into the cage with, like, you know how The Rock used to do that throw?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing pretty much, and he launches him into the cage.
And I think I just saw Bryce in the corner of that shot too. Bryce
Yeah.
Rensburg was
Yep,
a
yep,
regular
yep.
out here.
Yep.
Wow, this
Yeah,
is great.
I think that was his head.
Who is that?
There
Oh,
he
it goes
goes,
Hammer.
and plow.
There you go. There goes Hammer.
Yeah. What a fucking.
Good old Chris
There
Hammer.
goes Denny.
Yeah.
What a show.
There's Sterling or Corey Graves.
I need the full link to this match. I will
Jeez.
definitely watch
Yeah,
this.
I'll send it. We'll put it in the chat room right now.
Oh, here we go.
So where are we looking at?
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait
Tell-
for it.
Explain,
Wait for it.
Explain it
Here
to
it
the
comes.
audio.
Right now. Death to Troy. That's what it is.
Wow.
Oh fuck!
Wow.
Oh, God.
Oh no!
He has a structured settlement and he needs cash now.
And here's the best part. So Troy and I are talking about this, and we're like, man, the reviews look good, but neither one of us can remember the fucking match, right? And we're sitting there trying to find it, and it's like, fuck, I can't find it.
You gotta look for the show, not the match.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But that is in the chat room,
But-
and I'll send that to you guys.
What a gem.
Hamrick, I think, does the leg drop off the top of the cage, which God bless him for that.
Oh, of course.
And CJ does a dive off the top of the cage.
Hamrick did a top rope leg drop like every show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
expect anything different? He bragged about the Hamrick bump.
My,
He tried to talk me into it. I was like, it's not as bad as people think.
my favorite indie match that I ever watched live was in Wilmerding, PA.
You had me
At
at
the
Wilburn.
YMCA.
Oh my God, this gets better.
And it was Smothers and Hamrick versus the Midnight Express.
What?
Oh,
And
In
so-
Wilmerding?
And that there was like 500 people jammed in this little YMCA venue, right? And Hamrick started the match off doing the top rope gimmick where he falls and hurts himself. And as they go to help him out, he kicks the rope and hits him in the balls. And it's fucking amazing. It's good shit.
Oh man, yeah, that's yeah, dude, yeah, no, if I got my hands on it, it's out there, it's out there. So, but no, you gotta look for the shows because I have not properly keyworded these. It was kind of a bulk drop on
Good job,
on YouTube.
Sorg.
So listen, I think Pittsburgh history needs to be exposed so
I
people
agree.
can find it.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of it. We're going to start rolling out some early shows for some of the other promotions we work for. So look for some early 2PW shows to start showing up on YouTube outside of the memberships. Actually, I don't think we've had it on anything but the network for the first 2 years. So we're going to be messing with that a little bit. But no, like all the way back to, God, like, yeah, this is No Excuses 2 Part 2 if you're looking for it out there on audio. And it's part of that video there. I really should probably remark this War Games or something since everybody's looking for it right now. So
It's not. I tell you what, it's not. It's not Uncaged Fury.
Uncaged Fury. I love this story too.
Oh, good lord!
Also, there's just the cage didn't show
The
up,
cage
right?
did not fucking show up. Indie wrestling, folks.
Yes.
I thought Norm's head was gonna fucking explode.
Well, at least you had a ring.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Now, here's a question for you. Would you prefer a ring and no cage or a cage and no ring?
I think so. The fun part about all this, and again, my brain is mashed potatoes. So, Sorg, you can help me with this from your memory because you weren't there yet. I don't think.
I don't
at
think
all.
no.
So, Uncaged Fury was supposed to be the giant War Games match in one ring, one cage, because Norman could only get that. I think. I might be wrong. And then once it had to get rescheduled, he was able to get the second ring and do the double cage. Thankfully, that's how it worked out. Somebody was talking about a company out in Eastern PA, and they did a Hell in a Cell match. Did you ever hear about this?
I know. I want to know about this.
I want to say Facade was on the show.
Wait, hold on a second, because I found the Uncaged Fury. So we still had a War Game style Extreme Rules match
Yes.
with Abyss, Hentai, Sebastian Dark, Shirley Doe, and Gregory Bolin,
Yes.
M Dog 20, and
Yes.
Sterling James Keenan.
And that was I
Okay.
came out after the match and turned on them and joined the Unholy Alliance.
Okay, all right. This also has McChesney and Low-Key. My God. Delirious Christopher Daniels. Fuck, these old cards.
Dude.
Man. Cleveland Mafia, J-Rock and Raymond Rowe against the Gambino Brothers Moving Company.
Oh yeah, don't forget that part.
Kings of Wrestling, Chris Hero and Claudio against Jason Gorey and Shima Zion, One Walking Wild now. Ricky Reyes, Larry Sweeney, R.I.P.
That's stacked.
Balls, Hot, Troy Lords, and Vendetta.
Now look at that from a perspective. Rev said that's stacked.
Yeah.
That's every show for years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was. Oh, yeah.
Like-
I was talking about this. You're a perfect person to bring this up with. Because I brought this up. I got Old Man Sorg for a little bit the other day. Okay. Because I was like, I remember back in my day when I went to these shows. There's no guardrails, first of all, before I didn't see guardrails. We probably have Jimmy DeMarco to thank for that. Likely. I remember, like, after, like, every hot match, there was a standing ovation.
Yeah.
At least 50% of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I realized I never see that anymore.
No.
I saw the only, like even I'm going to, like, Warrior Wrestling, which is fucking fantastic, right? And they're bringing all these guys, and you'll see it after like an Osprey match, right? But you won't see it for like holy crap, tear down Lucha, what the fuck just happened match, right? That's a big thing I miss in indie wrestling, or at least in the area. I don't know if this was happening in other places. Like there was a lot more respect. See, here's where I'm getting Old Man Sorg.
He said there was respect. Damn it.
But it was like an ingrained like.
No, yeah.
Holy fuck, that was great. Let's after Troy and Hentai killed each other in a ladder match, right? Things like that, or if Troy and Vendetta had a killer match here, open this card, we would be standing up and applauding this, right? Yeah. And it just seems rare these days.
So, the little things that I do remember, right? So to the point of this saying, like with Rev, like these cards were not stacked. That's what the indie scene looked like. And I've said this numerous times, and Rev's heard me say this to the trainees, and I'll tell anybody this. My time in professional wrestling was special because of the time I was in professional wrestling. I was in the best years because of the people who were on the same level, right? And when, I told my son this the other day because we were watching something. He's like, "Oh, did you ever wrestle AJ Styles?" And I said, "No, I never got to wrestle AJ." I said, "But AJ and I would play basketball before the shows and just dick around. Like a lot of the guys that were here were normal guys coming in because there was only a handful of local talent that got used for IWC. Another thing that made them different from everybody else, you didn't see the same guys on the card 10 or 15 miles between each other, which is what kills rosters.
Yeah.
So that being said, I was watching my match with Abyss, and Abyss was at the point in his career where he was the NWA heavyweight champion. And the crowd...
Was that the TNA NWA at the time? Okay.
Yeah. So just watching that match, and then we went back and watched the CCAC show where I beat Sterling for the title. And the lead-up matches. So, like, the Hopewell show, whenever it was me and Sterling for the first time, and Punk was involved, Raven was involved, and, hoopla, blah, 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 blah. But to your point of the fans, they weren't so spoiled as to what they are now. Because wrestling has just completely changed, right?
In that area, we didn't have as much access. We didn't have 5 promotions all vying for our attention and 10 promotions in the area and all this stuff. It was like
didn't have the internet to what it is today. It was just coming about, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't have all the outlets, and you didn't have all of the spectacle that gets put with social media and everything else nowadays. Like, you still had, I remember putting videotapes together for people. Like, it's one of those things where it was just so special, not just because of the talent, but because the fans weren't spoiled yet at that time, right?
He has hair.
So I did.
This
have
is
hair.
the somebody has your match with Abyss up on Daily Motion, actually.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a good time, right? So like, and Abyss is one of my favorite people that I ever worked. He's so easy to work. And it's funny because going into this, he was worried because his back was all fucked up, and he was going into the pay-per-view to defend this title. And when we went out there, he's like, take care of me, brother. I got you. We're good. But he's one of the nicest people I've met in my years of being in the business. But these crowds were just, to your point, the level of respect. It was 100% due to having the exposure that they have nowadays, and that special, like, whatever you want to call it, to the roster. The roster was not 15 or 20 local guys. It was unique. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. It was unique because it wasn't the same people on the same shows, 10 or 15 minutes down the road, double shot in the same shit. You don't have any worth if you're doing that, And somebody asked me one time, like, well, when you was with IWC, why didn't you work other companies? Why?
All the good talent came to you then.
Do they have AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and all these guys? No offense, because I have no issues with Powerhouse Hughes at CWF in Monessen. No. There's no reason for me to work there. I worked a few shots for him in favors to my cousin, but other than that, I didn't need to work anywhere else. Anything else I did was out of state. You start jumping between 5 different companies, and now there's too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't get a good storyline out of it, and it just sucks. Your product sucks at that point.
Yep.
And current promoters, I have told that, even my best friends, I've said the product sucks because it's all the same shit. And you have to be unique. And if you can't be unique, then your product will be stagnant and you'll still draw 100 people or 150 people. If you want to take that next level, you need the Christopher Daniels, the AJ Styles, those hot people that are on the network right now, brought in and do a shot with them and build your crowds. It's
I always say this when I started going to wrestling. Like I came in because I saw a show that had Ricky Reyes, Larry Sweeney, a bunch of other guys I heard about on the internet, and then I stuck around for the crazy 4-way tag matches and everything else, right? Like,
sure,
like that's the formula.
And take it one step also to IWC with those years. You had all those ECW guys that were coming in, regulars. They weren't just coming in for shots. Sandman was there almost every show.
Norm was on Twitter just talking about how he started getting texts from Sandman over the holidays.
That's
because that
doesn't surprise me.
Nope.
Yeah, but I mean, like Sandman and Raven and Balls Mahoney. I love Balls Mahoney. He was a great guy. And another one. Hopefully he's in no pain now. So, but him, Axel Rotten would come in. And it just, man, again, I had the best times in Pittsburgh indie wrestling here. All those years.
The time of his life.
Baby never went in the corner there, Rev.
You didn't put her in the corner?
No.
Oh wow!
But no, it was definitely a different, to wrap the whole thing up there. To your point it was that they weren't spoiled. Now fans are spoiled, even on a mainstream WWE level. Everything else, they're just spoiled.
And I think, and that's I think that's why
it's not their fault.
No, and I think that's why something like RWA even thrives because how many people are local, right? Like you're one of the few.
Yeah, there's barely.
It's always been the southern flavor. It's always been Eats comes in from 2 states away at least.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming from Carolinas and Tennessee and things like that.
I think on an average, I think Eats said he has about 7.5 to 8 hour drive one way.
Yeah.
But in the same sense too, if you look at RWA is a whole different machine.
Absolutely.
Because they picked the perfect town
I don't know how they found it, but somehow it works, man.
They did. They picked the perfect town to run wrestling shows.
Yeah, yeah.
And I compare New Stanton, not in volume, but
Yeah.
as the crowd goes, to Franklin with the Legend shows. When you pick
You mean West Newton?
what'd I say?
New Stanton?
Yes, West Newton.
West
My
Newton.
bad.
Okay.
They're all
I was like,
attached.
who's running New Stanton?
So it's like I've been missing out.
I was like, I'm missing the
They're
promotion.
all up the frickin' river. It's all the same. It doesn't matter. But if you take West Newton and the Franklin shows, the Legend shows,
Yeah, Night Legend shows. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you got, apples to oranges when it comes to fans and how many people fit in there, but it's the same atmosphere. Again, it doesn't matter if you have 150
And that
people
was
in there
that
or
was like
1,000.
we are bringing in like $1 Million Man and Rock and Roll Express and all these guys and stacking a show to bring all these people in. These guys are doing it with just the regulars that come in. And it really does. And that's they've built the strongest base that I've seen. And like I can that's incredible. And I think. Everybody else is still building their base. Rise is getting it figured out. They're
doing a
bringing
great job.
Yeah, they're bringing and they have a little bit of that. They're bringing in a lot of very interesting people. We had a Tough Guy Inc. last show, Delirious over the summer, Sumi Sakai this time. What?
Nothing.
Okay, all right.
Tough Guy Inc. was tough. I just go.
Okay, all right,
Whatever.
all right. So, but still, there's a lot of those faces, a lot of those, at least the seminars and everything. Good for the kids at the Stronghold, of course. Ideally, I think maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say like what I try to tell people, and I'm not one that's like, oh, well, I'm over here. You need to do this. I would say if there's good quality professional wrestling where you're getting a good foundation and a base, then that's good for the whole city. So, for example, if we have a person from IWC that's wrestling somewhere overseas or something like that, guess what? I'm going to support them if they're bringing good quality wrestling because they're representing the city.
Absolutely.
They're representing Pittsburgh professional wrestling.
Sure.
So as a whole, I can speak for myself, but I want Pittsburgh professional wrestling as a whole to be good.
And
just as long as you have some good quality
and
to it.
seen.
And seen. Yeah,
that's been
exactly.
that's been the big thing. I want Pittsburgh to be seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I want people to see what's been happening here, and people are seeing it because they're getting to all of the platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I would tell people. Like, don't sleep on the Pittsburgh wrestling scene. Don't.
yeah. Like it's pretty incredible when you look at that landscape with the Lees and the Corey Graves and the Walking Wilds and everything that
Yep.
Elias, they're there, you
Yeah.
know.
And to the younger generation, when you mention those names, there's one thing that is aligned with all of them. Yes, they learn their stuff in Pittsburgh, but
They got out.
they went out and learned more of the trade, right? So I believe Elias went down and trained a little bit with Rip Rogers.
Okay.
Lee went to he just talked about this on a Jericho podcast with Shima, Joaquin Wild. When he was in Mexico, he called Lee and said, hey, come down. No guarantees in wrestling, but you get to learn, right? And the experience is key. And all those guys, Sterling, going over.
God, yeah. What country did he go to? Like Italy or something? Because I remember we had him on the show. He's talking about how like they got there and they got like mobbed because they don't see wrestling very often.
I can't remember. Where was 1PW running?
Well, 1PW was England.
He had England, and then
He had England. It was like an island off of Italy,
it was
Sicily or
yeah,
something. Was
like
it?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the archives on the show.
But these guys went out.
Yes.
And not that they needed to go retrain, but they needed to get more dust on their boots.
Yeah.
And I think that's what guys don't understand.
Taste more flavors.
I think the one thing that pisses me off more nowadays about wrestlers is before they've even made a name for themselves, they got 15 different fucking T-shirts and 7 different stickers and 37 different fucking magnets for their grandma's closet. Like, listen, go out and learn how to work first before you invest in some shitty T-shirts. You're a shitty worker on a shitty T-shirt, you're not going to make any money for anybody.
Yeah.
Take the time, put the years in, and get the craft in there and become what you're promoting. If you're promoting trash, which there are many who do it, if you're promoting trash and you think that you're at a level of one thing, well, guess what? If you're not booked higher on a card, or if you're not booked for a company that has regard, you're not that good. And you have to accept that, right? So I just wish people would take more time to learn the craft and stop worrying about T-shirts.
No one has patience
all this
anymore.
bullshit. That's it. They don't have any patience.
Yeah.
You got to have patience, and you got to be around people that you're going to learn from, not people that you're going to click with. There's a huge fucking difference.
And I think it is people seeing, people don't see that how long Lee Moriarty was working.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I remember seeing him in what town was that? McKeesport.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I don't understand why he has like Japanese stuff on his on his bib tights situation.
Right.
I don't understand it. What's a Moriarty? Why is he hanging out with David Lawless and this Yahoo over here?
what is the order?
Yeah. What is this? Why? I had a lot of questions, and then look what he did, right? Just a few years later, I think people see Thea, God bless Thea for getting the opportunity she did and coming right out of school and for what she did. But I think the young people, the impatient youngins, see that and we're like, oh, that's the path. It's like, no, that's not the path.
There's a difference if you're an athlete.
Absolutely.
Thea's an athlete.
Absolutely.
Look at Frost. She's an athlete. Shane is an athlete. When you're an athlete and you can wrestle, you're going to draw the attention quick.
Yep.
But when you're not in those leagues, you have to take time to get there or be as good as you possibly can be. I mean, you can be a one-hit wonder in the town you live in and, again, have all the T-shirts in the world and whatever you want to do. But if you don't take the time to train and get out there and be better at what you call yourself, which is a professional wrestler, then just keep working for those dog shit companies and the people who aren't going to do anything for you.
I was telling some of our students too, actually just like recently, like yesterday too, that during that first year when I started, my coach said, hey, for the first year, I just want you to get in the cars every single weekend.
Yeah.
With some type of guy. And it was like, even though we weren't cleared to do shows, we weren't at that time where we were trusted to do a lot of shows, he said for that first year, absorb this, ask questions, get answers, get to shows, help at the shows. Don't just get there, shake hands, and stand to the side and be like, oh, if I'm seen. No, really help them in whatever job they ask you to do it to the best of your ability. And a lot of that stuff sometimes, and Dean will tell you a lot of that stuff, some of your best learning will happen when you're even just listening to someone talking about something in the locker room, or you're jumping in the cars and they're talking about what worked for them in this city and how they're going to now do this in this city because this is how this crowd is over here, or this energy is over here, and being able to, and I think a lot of times, I think like both of you said, like so many people are just so used to, I want to go here, but it's like, what are you doing to put the work in? Are you just showing up when we say doors are open? What are you doing outside of that time on your own to help you get to whatever your dream is?
Yep. And you never know what that opportunity is. I know, I've seen a couple people that I felt like they were floundering for a bit, and I started seeing them get in the cars. There's a lot of, I see a lot of wrestlers, commentators that we know say, hey, I'm going here, opportunity, we have a seat, situation. Even for the Brookie Steamboat match this weekend, somebody was looking to fill a car, right? Because you never know. And I know, one, I'm seeing, getting opportunities on a decent company in another town, several states away, and they're on their YouTube show every time they do it, and that's going to build into, and he's getting feedback, he's getting feedback on a different level. A place a place where I got to visit recently and looked around, and I'm just like, this is like a feeder for Impact Wrestling where I'm sitting right now, or in AEW and everything, the way I'm looking at the history of their talent, and who's around me, that's really, that's so important. So very important.
To the point of what Rev was saying with all this, and this is something that I did. I took it upon myself to really challenge. This is where the mentality is, right? So to Rev's point, he put up about open seats, right? Traveling. Nobody responded. So I got pissed off. So then I put something up and said, I have an opportunity for a couple spots for people to work with WWE. Let me know if you're in.
Boy, oh boy, did I get flooded. Boy, oh boy.
And I let it go for a few hours.
We had more comments in about 45 minutes than I did for 2 days of my post up.
So then after a few hours, I let everybody know what was going on. But it shouldn't take 3 letters for you to respond. You should get in the car with whoever, whenever, because you don't know who's going to be booked on those shows. You don't know what you can learn. And to your point, you're always learning. So get in that car.
And there's when you start doing that, and I've noticed this on my side too, where I'm going to a show on the East Coast, go to a show on the West Coast, and I'm seeing the same people. And you're being seen. Like I'm noticing me being seen and noticed and recognized. You know what I mean? And people, when they see me in my position, they're comfortable with me because they're seeing me in multiple places. Like that happens on. I mean, that happens on your guys' side too. Like you see, you know, hey, so and so who happens to be Impact champion or whatever. You know, I'm seeing on this and this show. I'm starting to get known. Opportunities can arise out of that, right? Or at least you sit under the learning tree.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you also got to know when to pull the trigger.
Absolutely.
You can't just keep going to a company in hopes that you're going to get booked. And if you do a couple of dark matches for them, that's fine. But after you're done doing a couple dark matches, stop kissing their ass.
Disappear.
And look elsewhere. If they want you, they'll get a hold of you. Don't fucking pay for yourself to go out there. Don't book your own hotel. Don't work for free. If you give them the Iggy and you say, hey, I'm going to give you a couple dark matches, that's fine. What do you think? Well, we'll get back to you. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thanks. Here's all my information. Be a fucking professional. Have a card. Give them a card. And then you don't go back because all you're doing now is you're just bottom feeding. If they want to book you, they'll book you.
Yep.
And that's another thing guys don't understand. Like they'll drive hours to these same shows over and over and over and just keep getting a darker. You know why you get a dark match? Because you're free. That's why. And if they wanted you anywhere else in the card, you would have been booked there by now. So you have to also put your foot down and look elsewhere. Don't just keep kissing an ass of one company.
Yep.
Do you want to know what I like in that too? When you're looking in the shoot world, when you're looking in the real world, and you know you're with someone like, hey, you said you wanted to get into what? Hey, we have this. I got a guy. They need someone to fill this internship. You go there. It's an opportunity, big event. Cool. You leave, and all of a sudden you just show up 2 weeks later, like, hey, I'm here. I'm here to be an intern again. And they're like, but wait, we didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess we'll find something for you to do. We don't know yet, but stay tuned. Like, no.
You can help tear the ring down when we're done.
Yeah.
Always good. Well, it's always good to dig into this. I'm hoping there's some young wrestlers listening out there, and again, if you want more insight, go to Stronghold Wrestling, Stronghold Academy on Facebook.
Stronghold Training Center.
That training center.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got my names.
Don't you?
He's like, I'm
fuck
confused.
with my head right now.
He's had a $2 rock bottom beer.
Oh my
guys.
God! Only one.
He's at a.
It's like it's like
Stronghold Training Center. What are you doing to me, Stuart?
an academy. I in my mind, it's an academy.
Also, to that point, with the Rise show, Sumi is doing a seminar.
Yes.
So if you haven't booked it already, I highly recommend jump on board and get a part of that seminar, male or female, because you will learn from her. Don't sit on that.
Very true.
There's only X amount of spots.
How long veteran is she? She's
Long time.
30.
It's been around a while.
And she doesn't wrestle like it neither. Like she is still in her prime, in my opinion.
She's preserved.
Right. Oh, she actually has. She is actually one of the coaches. I think it's her and Burger. It's her world famous Burger. They're running a school actually out of the original ROH dojo that's in Bristol. It's called the Worldwide Dojo.
Nice.
So that's a good thing. But just like you said, I mean, she's a tremendous brain. It was always a joy to be around her, and She could teach you a lot.
She is 51 years old.
Get out of town. Are you
Jeez,
serious?
no.
Yep.
Oh, she was definitely preserved, dude. Absolutely not. That's
She made her debut 97, April of 97.
Wow.
WrestleLuminati, man.
Was she when I was on Nitro? Or am I thinking somebody else? I'm thinking somebody at WWE.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, my mind's blown. Shout out to you, Sumi. Shout out to you.
Fantastic.
My mind's blown.
Well, hey, real quick, since I didn't shout them out earlier, I want to give a shout out to friends Slice on Broadway, New York City Style, Yinzer Made, Beachview Carnegie, East End, North Hills, and Southside Works just opened up.
I love you.
Thank you for supporting the show, feeding our guests.
I love you.
Yes.
Delicious. Anytime you need a commercial, contact Sorg. I'll do one for you.
I love Eamon and Merlin moved up here from Texas, and every time they come over for a wrestling pay-per-view, they stop by and get sliced.
I'm about to
He's
have
been
a
hearing it
slice.
for
Listen,
years.
I'm going to have a slice.
I love the cheese, the meat, the pepperoni. Just put the meat in my mouth.
That's what she said.
Pause.
Clip it.
Slice on Broadway.
Wow. Wow. Everybody, chat room, what did you learn from wrestling tonight? And chat room, I know there's a couple wrestlers out there in the chat room. What you learn from this? So this chat just 10 minutes ago. Mike, do you got something you learned? What'd you learn from War Games?
I learned that Dakota Kai is probably one of the most underrated people on the roster.
Agreed.
Okay.
Because she worked all of War Games. She worked a live event the next night. And she worked that long TV match with Candace on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, that match with Candace on Raw. Like, we didn't talk about Raw. Raw was fucking great last night.
I hope.
The first hour being commercial free.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my God, I wish they could do that every week.
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't work out logistically,
sit-
but the show had momentum,
Mhm,
like the
mhm.
entire show.
Yep.
Like it was just, and maybe it was because of a scaled down roster,
How about
because people were hurting from War Games. Like I don't know.
How about they had like the most interesting stuff of the Candice LeRae match, like during the picture-in-picture. Like there was the brawl and pull part and security and everything during
yeah.
picture-in-picture. Like what the hell's going on here?
That's as bad as AEW doing picture-in-picture when people are on a promo.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the one time when a match ends on a picture-in-picture.
It almost did.
Oh, my God.
It almost did on AEW one time. Like I think they came back for the 3 count at one time.
It was
Yeah.
probably a women's match,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know what it
That's
was. And then
hilarious.
Tony was
I
like,
guarantee it was a women's
and Tony's like, yeah, we want them to tune in for picture-in-picture. So if it ends on a match, it ends on that picture-in-picture. So
I tell you what, and hopefully good big things come from this. I've always been a fan of what's his name, Sam Shaw.
Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, so I was happy to see they brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
But after seeing him wrestle The Miz, now with that character, they have to evolve him quickly because you can't do the blank stare and this and that and the other.
It doesn't work in a giant arena as well.
No.
Well,
no.
I mean, there's a very easy way to do that. Dexter Lumis makes a Christmas wish to Santa, and Indy Hartwell's back on Raw.
Yeah, I hope that does happen because that was a night. They had good dynamic. But I tell you what, one of the coolest things that was takeaway from that match was the story of him handing the money out. And literally the Grinch himself, the Miz, reaching over and grabbing that $100 bill out of the kid's hand. And that kid had like one of those faces like when the Randy Orton girl or whatever it was. Or was it a Miz girl? Or
It was a
Randy
Miz
Orton?
girl, I
girl.
think.
Miz
yeah.
girl. So it was the same effect, right? So the kid's face melts, and then he takes the super kick, and then he reaches over and grabs it, and Johnny
Gives
Gargano.
the money back.
Yeah, he grabs the money, he hands it back to the kid, and the kid lights up like a Christmas tree.
Did
I
you
was like,
also
oh,
have
man.
throwback vibes to Big John Studd and Andre from WrestleMania 1?
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that one of the kids that Dexter handed the 100 to, the kid, like, he was like, and then immediately like, checked it.
He looked up at the light.
Immediately checked it. I'm like, that kid is going.
Yeah.
Like he's a
places.
genius. He's
And the
And
already
the
ahead
place
of his
he's
game.
going is the merch booth.
That's
That
right.
kid,
Yeah, they don't care. It's all going back into the merch booth. They know they don't give a crap if that's real money, right? So
They actually released a video of the kids who got the money from Dexter Loomis going wild at the merch booth.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
That is
awesome.
I love it.
hilarious.
I love it. That's great. I love that Raw.
I'm telling you,
ahead.
the one thing I know we don't need more titles in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We need a mixed tag team championship in wrestling.
We don't.
In WWE.
We don't.
No, I think we do.
We
There's
don't.
so many combinations, like of just all people that have already been established.
Listen,
like
Tony Khan has
it would be
heard
the
you.
strongest division.
Tony Khan heard you. You'll have it in 6 months. Don't worry.
No,
there you
Tony Khan doesn't listen to me, especially when I talk about women.
Yeah, and Mike tries a lot on Twitter. Trust me.
Yeah, Tony Khan doesn't listen to me at the fuck all.
No.
But WWE, if they had a mixed tag team division, would have one of the strongest rosters that you could imagine.
Who would you have as their
But that
first mixed tag champions, if that's the case?
Ripley and Don.
Miz and Maurice, honestly.
Miz and Maurice.
Miz and
Gargano
Maurice,
and
because
Candice
you need
LeRae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, to your Dexter concerns, he does have Johnny to play off of.
He does.
So they could
He does.
reboot.
But I don't want to see.
But I think Johnny can bring Indy in.
That's true too. That's true
Yeah,
too.
I just don't want to see another guy with a strong character be stuck behind somebody else and then have the Austin Theory effect happen again.
Gotcha.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, Rev, what'd you learn from wrestling this week?
Penis.
Yeah, I learned that too.
Give it up one time.
J-Rock is the only dick with no balls.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
J-Rock, I plan to catch you outside very soon, even if I got to come to Cleveland. So I learned to have patience, do everything with a smile, and put your best foot forward, even the one that has 4 toes on it. That's what I learned.
Dean, was your Dexter Loomis? Is that what you learned this week?
Yes.
Okay. Double checking the chat room.
I learned that
Go ahead.
wrestling was good this weekend.
It was.
Oh, that fucking toe!
Whoa!
Oh,
What
Jesus.
is happening there?
He's got like a turtle foot.
I've never seen that.
Oh, put it back up for him. It's terrible. Look at this thing.
Oh man!
Oh,
That's
God.
gonna hit.
Oh, Jesus.
Hold on, there he goes.
Oh.
What the hell? What is that?
He's got a Ninja Turtle foot.
That's what I learned. Holy shit! That's gonna be.
Rev's foot just got signed to AEW.
I never.
Hey, I do
Rev
one.
just got cast in the next.
That's a whole show in itself.
I do
That's
one
what's
heck of a haluva kick with that foot too. By the
Holy
way, that's my right
shit.
foot.
Rev, have you thought about getting in touch with Tony Atlas?
You know what? I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to think of how to do a mandible claw with the foot. So
I don't think I'm going to eat that slice of pizza. Good Lord.
That's gonna be big on TikTok.
that's what I figured. There you go. You're welcome.
Wow! You
You're
pulled that
welcome.
out. You don't pull that out often, do you?
He does, actually. It's
Okay.
It happens from time from
undisclosed
time.
areas.
Next time you
from
at least
time
have
to
to say,
time.
"Excuse me," while I whip this out.
God.
Hey, that was smooth. I didn't even see you taking
Hey,
your
look, he
shoes
didn't
off.
even know. He didn't even
Hey,
know.
I need
Yeah, take control of your studio,
I
son.
need some therapy.
Oh, God.
I need some therapy.
You want to massage him?
I just
Hey, see, and this is why I feel like I would make a fortune if I open up like a foot thing for OnlyFans, but that's not my flow. baby.
Why don't you just open another TikTok account that's just your foot?
I should.
Your
Like,
fan,
just
your foot is a fan of Vader.
Just
'cause
your
it's
foot,
just-
like you just.
it's the Vader time. Your fucking foot is Vader time.
I'm like,
Mastodon.
I never seen like a foot do the Vulcan sign before.
The toe Ron
yeah,
Hunt.
Yeah, toe Ron Hunt.
Maybe I'll give you something on Patreon. If you give me a pencil, I can draw with
no,
it.
just do TikTok. And
You're
just
the
you.
only person I know who can't flip someone off with their foot.
Just it's just you.
Hey, listen. This is how you know you're one of the real 4 horsemen. Yeah.
You're cut off.
I gotta end the show on that one. Chat room's flipping out.
Oh, God.
Everybody's gonna have questions, and
and we don't have answers.
I
Nor
know
do
I'm
I
going
think
to
we
have
want.
Rev Ron Hunt, thank you.
I'm gonna have PTSD.
You're welcome.
with foot.
Thanks for putting your best foot forward, Rev.
You're welcome.
Aw. Is it-
Hey, one step at a time.
don't show me, but
Thanks for putting your slice on Broadway.
Is it just that one or both of them like that?
It's just
It's just
this
the
one.
one?
It's
Okay.
just this one, just the right foot.
Okay.
So in other words,
And yes, I do wear the
Later
same
down the
size
line-
shoe on each foot. I've had
later
that
down
question.
the line, you have to go as old Nine Toes Rev.
And this is why I get mad when people cut promos on me and they're like, "Listen, hey, 10 toes, whatever," and I'm like, I don't got them.
What?
Was that 10 toes down or something?
Who's giving a 10-toe promo to you? How does that work?
I don't know.
Wait, but
They try it. They try. I've experienced some things in my time. Best of times is the worst of times, but
How do you get toe jams out of the middle of that crease?
it never happens. The crease is too big. It's very. You know, I really do feel like
It's like the Michael Strahan problem. Same thing.
So here's what I think that happens real quick. I think this actually helps me hit the ropes faster and harder. Because it's just that extra weight that it's not there.
You're like
I
double
get the hit. Yeah.
Getting more
Your foot is
aerodynamic.
like a camel toe. It's like
Yeah. You should see me. You should see me when I hit the springboards, man. They're phenomenal.
Oh my god.
Oh.
You know, if you got those shoes, the Japanese shoes that like split the toes, right? You would fit right in there, some bitch.
Yeah, but you got that one that just.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
So,
you don't have
so
the one
um,
that goes
if,
like
if
that.
anyone is Christmas shopping for the Rev this year, do not get him.
Dude, don't get me those toe socks. I've actually tried those on just to see what and whatever your brain is imagining is exactly how it looks. It just.
So you got one loose toe.
Yeah, just one to just.
Well, guys, we're going to close the show here. Thank you for Dean Radford. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Stronghold.
for having me again.
The Stronghold Whatchamacallit Academy. And
He's so done.
I don't even know.
Training Center.
We're going to
Sorg.
do a Patreon after this where we're going to ask more about Rev's foot.
Oh boy.
And I think we have a Jake Garrett and a gathering story to ask you about if you're still up for it. So join Patreon. We'll have the link later in the week, presuming this all goes well. Thank you for joining us. This has been Mayhem out. We'll see you guys next week.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.